in all honesty, I don't expect to see any major changes of the magnitude that needs to take place in my lifetime. What I feel I'm doing is sowing seeds for future generations. And I think that if enough of us keep on doing our thing and making our own individual contributions to the process, then it is going to have ramifications into the future. And who knows how many years from now, 30, 50, 100, 200, maybe more years from now, maybe the fruits of our labor will, start to be felt. So I'm under no illusion to the fact that it's going to feel like I'm beating my head against a wall probably for the rest of my days, because I'm not going to see immediate results to the information that I and so many others are putting out there. But I feel that it will have its impact when it needs to, and at some point in the future, that this work will pay off. And I just can't stand the thought that the generation we have now will squander the chance to expose the agenda that we have, and will not step up to that responsibility, because we have a major responsibility, people of our generation, because we remember better times. So much has changed in society over the course of the last 20 years. I make this point in the book as well, that if you take it back to 1996, very few people had mobile phones. Very few people were using laptops. The internet was in its infancy. Nobody was using Facebook and social media and stuff like that. You could still walk into a grocery store and pay with cash to an actual human being behind a counter. You didn't have barcodes all over the place. You could actually phone your electricity or water company and speak to an actual human being without having to go through a bloody robot system. And vocalists on records, that was actually their voice that you were hearing and not one that had been plugged through a computer. So all these changes have happened in such a short period of time. And it's people of my generation that can remember what life was like before that, going back into the early 90s and back into the 80s and things like that. And then you can look at agendas like chemtrails, geoengineering. And most researchers agree that that agenda has been in place for pretty much the last 20 years. So, most of them take it back to the mid-90s. And if you look at what was happening before that, that agenda was not really full throttle going back into the 1980s. And then you can look at the changing face of technology in terms of the way people consume music and even movies now. Everything is digital. Everything is electronic. There are young people today that have never seen a vinyl record. They've got no idea what a cassette was. They've got no idea what a video recorder was. Their idea of how you get music is downloading an MP3, usually to their phone, listening to it on some shitty, tinny little headphones, where everything just sounds terrible and you don't get the full frequency range of the recording. And that's their idea of how music sounds and how music is delivered. And then, they'll go to a nightclub and see a DJ playing off a laptop, and they're just chucking a load of MP3s on, some of which they've probably burnt off of YouTube. And that's their idea of what a DJ is and what a DJ does. They have no concept of how things used to be, where you had to actually hunt out records and go after these vinyl tunes and spend time, putting your set list together. So it's people of my age and my generation that remember how things used to be and can see how different they are now and how the social engineering agenda is in full effect. And if we just sit on our asses and do nothing, then this generation is going to die out, and all our knowledge and all our memories and all our perspectives are going to die out with us. And the next generation along will not have those perspectives and will not be able to make the connections between what was and what is going on now. And that is a very dangerous thing to happen, I think. And that would happen if enough of us didn't step up and do what we need to do at these times right now. Sometimes it involves making a bit of a personal sacrifice. You have to speak out. You might lose some friends. A few people will think you're crazy. You might find it more difficult to get certain jobs or recruitments or whatever, but it just needs to be done. And now the times that we're living in are very crucial times, and they're going to determine how things pan out for generations in the future.